It was Halloween night in the small, fog-covered town of Black Hollow. The air was damp, and the wind howled through the skeletal branches of leafless trees. Deep in the woods, hidden from sight, stood an abandoned mansion known as Hollow's End. Legend spoke of a single night each year when the mansion became a portal to another world, a night when demons walked among the living. Despite the warnings from elders, a group of 4 friends, Emma, Jake, Sam, and Lily, decided to explore the mansion. Each of them had their reasons for coming. Emma, the cautious one, had only agreed to come because her friends begged her. She hated being the killjoy but secretly wished they'd just stayed home. Jake, always the joker, treated the trip as a test of his bravery. Sam, quiet and reserved, hoped it would be a chance to connect with the others better. And Lily, ever the adventurous one, saw it as an opportunity to uncover something extraordinary. Armed with flashlights and false bravado, they ventured deep into the woods, their laughter masking the growing unease that clung to them like the mist. The mansion loomed ahead, its broken windows like empty eyes staring into their souls. The door creaked open with a single touch, revealing a grand but decayed interior. Cobwebs draped every corner, and the faint scent of rot lingered in the air. Emma's stomach churned, but she forced herself to smile, not wanting the others to see her fear. "Spooky," Jake joked, his voice breaking the oppressive silence. "Bet there's a vampire or two in here." "Or a ghost," Lily added with a smirk. Her curiosity burned bright as she shone her flashlight into every shadow, hoping to find something that proved the legends true. Emma shivered. "Let's just look around and leave. This place gives me the creeps." She thought back to the stories her grandmother had told her about the mansion. Those tales of people disappearing still echoed in her mind, making her wish she hadn't come. As they wandered deeper into the mansion, they found a dusty room with a massive mirror framed in intricate carvings. Strange symbols were etched into the wood. Lily, ever curious, brushed away the grime to reveal their reflections. She felt a strange pull toward the mirror, as though it were calling to her. She couldn't explain it, but it reminded her of the antique mirror in her late grandmother's attic, the one she wasn't allowed to touch as a child. Their reflections stared back, but they didn't mimic their movements. Instead, the figures in the mirror grinned wide, their teeth sharp and unnaturally white. "Did you see that?" Emma whispered, backing away. Her heart pounded as memories of her grandmother's warnings about seeing things that weren't you came flooding back. Before anyone could answer, the mirror rippled like water, and the room plunged into darkness. The friends screamed, their flashlights flickering as the air grew icy. A deep, guttural laugh echoed around them. "Welcome," a voice growled, "to the night of the demons." The friends clung to each other as figures emerged from the shadows, distorted, inhuman shapes with glowing red eyes and claws that scraped against the wooden floor. The creatures surrounded them, their whispers filling the room with unholy chants. "Run!" Jake shouted, breaking the paralysis of fear. For the first time, his usual confidence was gone, replaced by genuine terror. He grabbed Emma's hand, dragging her toward the nearest doorway. They darted down the hallway, the demons in pursuit. The walls seemed to stretch and twist, the mansion becoming a labyrinth designed to trap them. Doors slammed shut on their own, and ghostly faces appeared in the peeling wallpaper, their screams blending with the howling wind outside. One by one, the group was separated. Lily found herself in the basement, where rows of candles flickered on their own, illuminating a circle of symbols on the floor. She heard whispers calling her name and felt an invisible force pulling her toward the circle. She tried to resist, but her feet moved against her will. In the shadows, a figure began to take shape, a tall, robed demon with horns that seemed to scrape the ceiling. Its voice was like nails on glass. "You have been chosen," it hissed. Lily thought of her family, her little brother who always called her the bravest person he knew. She clenched her fists, trying to summon that bravery now. Upstairs, Jake stumbled into a room filled with mirrors. Each reflection showed him as something different. His face peeling away to reveal a monstrous form, his hands replaced by claws, his eyes glowing red. The reflections moved closer to him, banging against the glass. One of them reached out, shattering the barrier and pulling Jake into the mirror world. His screams faded into silence as the room returned to stillness. His last thought was regret for dragging his friends into this. Emma and Sam managed to find each other in the attic, their relief short-lived. The attic was filled with old furniture draped in dusty sheets, and at its center stood a rotting cradle. As they approached, the cradle began to rock on its own, a faint wailing filling the air. Emma's flashlight flickered, casting shadows that moved independently of the light. Sam grabbed Emma's arm. "We need to get out of here," he said, his voice trembling. He thought of his father, who always told him to be strong no matter what. But his strength was failing him now. A tall figure emerged from the darkness, its face hidden beneath a hood. When it spoke, its voice echoed with the power of countless souls. "You should not have come here," it intoned. "The mansion demands a sacrifice." The figure raised a hand, and Emma was lifted into the air, her screams cutting through the night. Sam grabbed her arm, trying to pull her back, but it was no use. The shadows coiled around her like snakes, dragging her into the darkness. "I'm sorry," Sam whispered as Emma disappeared. He clenched his fists, vowing not to let her sacrifice be in vain. Desperate to escape, Sam stumbled through the hallways, calling out for his friends. The mansion seemed to mock him, the walls whispering his name. He found himself back in the room with the mirror. The glass was cracked, and his reflection was missing. Instead, the mirror showed the faces of Emma, Jake, and Lily, their eyes hollow and their mouths open in silent screams. Behind him, the guttural voice returned. "You cannot leave. The mansion has claimed you." Sam turned to see the robed figure looming over him. It extended a clawed hand, and the world went black. Dawn broke over Black Hollow. The mansion stood silent and empty once more. The fog lifted, revealing no trace of the friends who had dared to enter. The townspeople whispered of Hollow's end and the poor souls who had vanished that Halloween night. Some claimed to hear their screams on the wind, while others swore they saw shadowy figures lurking in the woods. But one thing was certain. The mansion would wait, patient and hungry, for the next night of the demons.